A great take gives you 200 points. An okay take, a good take rather, gives you 100 points. An okay take gives you 50. And a bad take, you come home empty-handed with 0 points. Let's talk about what was a pretty disastrous All-Star game between the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. I'm not quite sure why they brought that format back. Neither here nor there. The East mollywops the West by a score, and I'm not kidding when I say this, of 211 to 186. It's the most points that's ever been scored in an All-Star game. Many have complained about this format and the issues surrounding it from a competitive standpoint and the issues, hopefully a lot of people trying to bring solutions, trying to fix the All-Star game. So that's what we're here to bring you on the 8 o'clock spot in the grid. We don't just complain about problems, we bring solutions. So to Barry Grant Jr., first of all, is there anything to be able to fix the All-Star game? And if so, what is it?
I don't necessarily believe so. I think that it's just the All-Star games in itself are just broken models nowadays. You said it very eloquently on your show on Monday that, guys used to use this to enhance their brands. They don't have to do that anymore. You can be in Milwaukee and be a billionaire now. Like, you can go anywhere and have your brand because the world has kind of shrunk itself with social media, with the ability to be able to market yourself from just a device. You don't have to go to a certain situation or a certain area anymore. So the All-Star game, that was this big festive thing, it's not really a big deal anymore outside of the celebrities that make it a big deal and spend all this obnoxious amount of money to go there and take pictures and shit. That's the only thing that they literally do it for. What's in it for the fans? To see the players and do that and all that, but what else is there to do? The game in itself is really a moot point. Nobody cares about the game. It's just about being in the atmosphere, being in that situation. So I don't really know. If you want me to take a shot at it, put some big money on it, right? It's kind of like when I was growing up in the park. You would play basketball, but then it got serious when somebody wanted to put money on the line. So put some big money on the line, have charities and, have it to this charity and this, whatever it is, or just give it to the, I don't know. That's probably the only thing that can motivate rich people is more money. So.
Well, that's what they did with the in-season tournament is the winner for the winning team, which happened to be your Lakers, got $500K apiece.
Yeah,
and
make it more.
Make it more, like potentially, and obviously for guys like LeBron James, Anthony Davis, $500K, but for the fifth guy on the bench, that's a nice little bonus there. And so obviously for the All-Star game, you could make it a little more to try and match that from a percentage standpoint. But I think that's a great idea. So for that, Barry Grant Jr., I'm going to give you a great take, 200 points, the max amount to get for this first round. I think again overall your take on, which you kind of stole from my take, but that's okay. About the sort of
credit.
You did give me credit. You gave me credit. You didn't no trademark issues here. But just the issue with, again, like the All-Star game in the 90s was a cash cow for Michael Jordan, right? Like you have the new shoe comes out and for other guys in the past. And so the guys, like you said, really don't need it nowadays. So Barry Grant Jr., 200 points here in this first round. To you, EJ Savage, is there anything to be able to fix what we see right now as the All-Star game? And if so, what would that be?
Yeah, I mean, the only way to fix it is, just like Barry said, just put money on it, or some type of vacation that they can win for the guys, some type of, motivator, just so that they are able to kind of, obviously not risk injury. It's mid-season kind of a thing. You don't want to dwindle your hopes of a deep playoff run if you're one of those teams like, Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum for the Celtics or something like that. But at the end of the day, you have to make it more competitive and more viewable for the regular fan. And everybody knows that these are the best players on the planet. It's not crazy to see Cat drop 50 or, Jaylen Brown go for 30 plus or whoever. Like, we already know that. We already know you can score at high clips. We want to see the best of the best teams ever assembled together. And I know West and East format kind of mucks that up a little bit. So I would like to see them go back to the old way of just, team captains, draft your team kind of a thing, and really go about it. And it doesn't have to be the first 3 quarters, whatever, if you tell the players like that. But when fourth quarter comes around, we want an actual game. And I think it would be cool to see that, 5 of the best against 5 of the other best on the court at one time. And you gotta get some money involved with it. $500K, like you mentioned with the in-season tournament, would be a good incentivizer. But yeah, just throw some vacation or something that they can win for not only them, but their families as well. I think that would go a long ways to helping fix this game, in my opinion.
I like the vacation idea. That's a nice idea. And like you said, I was shocked. I was not aware of this. This is totally on me that they had changed also the new fourth quarter rules where they had instituted 5 years ago or 4 years ago to honor Kobe Bryant, the target score of the leader plus 24. I like that first game in Chicago, that first All-Star game was like a finals game. The intensity was off the charts. So the fact they got rid of that and just went to the regular timed fourth quarter, I thought was strange.
Yeah.
But not just the compensation standpoint from a financial perspective, but the vacation idea. I never even thought about that, EJ. So I'm also going to give you a great take because that's an out of box idea that I never even considered. So great take for EJ Savage, the vacation, and nobody's going to turn down a good vacation if they get the opportunity. I don't care how rich you are, you get that for free. You will absolutely take it any day of the week. Finally, to you, Alfred Parsar Jr. Is there anything to be able to fix the All-Star game? And if so, what would that be?
So I think the biggest problem with the All-Star game, it's a culture issue. This generation of players, they just don't see the All-Star game the same way that guys in the 80s and 90s, early 2000s did. Anthony Edwards from the Timberwolves was actually quoted yesterday in an interview saying it's a break. Why would I want to, it's a paid break. Why would I want to go on a break and play a competitive game of basketball? Like back in the 80s, Jordan went out there trying to kill guys in All-Star games. One thing that comes to mind is when Jordan took that game-winning shot in 2003 over Sean Marion and that defense that Sean Marion played over him. Guys like Kobe, Bird, Magic, they all wanted to win, even in an All-Star game. So it's a culture issue. I don't think money is the answer because we saw what happened with the in-season tournament. You threw $500,000 a piece to everybody on the roster, and a team that's barely making a play-in spot won the tournament. So I don't think money is a motivator for guys who are already multi-millionaires. I think, you know what, a motivated player? Hardware. I think if they came up with something like every guy on the All-Star team that wins gets a ring to symbolize their win, similar to if they won the finals, would probably do something. Everybody likes to put hardware in their in their trophy cabinet because you got to think about it. Money's not a motivator because these guys get incentives just for making the All-Star game as well. I don't think you could go the MLB route because we saw what happened with MLB after 2002 when they said, the winning league is going to get home field advantage in the World Series. And you got guys who would never even sniff a World Series playing for that advantage. So that didn't work. But anytime you say, you got a chance to get another ring, we saw the in-season tournament didn't really do much in terms of money, but those guys got to hang a banner. And that's always, anytime you say, you tell somebody, we have something to commemorate your victory, that's always a motivator.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, I would argue that with the Lakers tournament is, like you mentioned, the fact that they're in a playing spot right now, the Lakers are in 9th place, but I would argue again that brought the best out of the Lakers. Like the Pacers, we do not view the Pacers as one of the 2 best teams in the NBA, but listen, they got hot. They brought a certain level of intensity. I mean, I remember that semifinal game with Milwaukee. Like there was some back and forths, like from an emotional standpoint with the players. Like these dudes wanted that. So, and also too, I think I saw where, and somebody made the joke that the second Chris Paul's in an All-Star, they start giving out rings. Guys, I think are actually giving out rings now. So again, guys get rings. So it's like that obviously hasn't done anything. And plus too, I don't think when we look at a guy's basketball resume, it's going to be like 5-time All-Star champion, Jason Tatum. Like, I don't think that's going to be something that's going to be the topic of conversation. So overall, I'll say an okay take for Alfred. I'll give you the 50 points here. Okay take. But I just think that, again, they've already tried the ring route. I do agree with you, though, in the whole giving home court advantage. I think it's a horrible idea. I think a guy who's in 9th, 10th place, it could be impacting a championship potentially. I think it's a horrible idea, and anybody who suggests it, I hate that idea. I'm surprised none of you 3 suggested this, because I think this could potentially work, is a North America versus world type of situation, because we have just as many all-stars around just many all-stars from other countries as we do here in the United States. So you could have Giannis, Jokic, Luka, guys like that against KD, Steph, LeBron, Tatum, guys like that. So
I don't know. I think it's a very clever idea, because you did mention that as well on your show. I just don't think that it's going to fix the competition part of it. I think that they'll still do the same shit, and the games are going to be 250 to 200. Like, they just don't care about playing hard enough because it's not needed. Nobody's really, you know what I mean? There's no incentive. Okay. There's nothing behind it. So it's a great concept. I like the way it would look, but we're still going to have the same problem.